This video is for entertainment purposes only. Nothing should be taken as factual. This is all my astrological opinion. Please enjoy.
Did you always knew you wanted a big family?
No. So I didn't want kids. I didn't want to get married. I thought I was going to be career girl and that's it. And I had my eyes set on my goals. And I was never the little girl that like dreamt about the wedding dress and all of that. And then it happened so early in my life. So it's like it's one of those things like you don't know what you actually don't know what you want.
It's
Hey everybody, this is Sonia with Melanin Goddess Life. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another celebrity reading. So, you saw the clip at the beginning of the video, so you already know who we're going to be talking about in today's video. We are going to be talking about Mrs. Ayesha Curry, who is the wife of NBA superstar Steph Curry. So, Ayesha has made her way back into the social media headlines with regards to an interview she did recently. And as like I said before, you saw a bit of the clips of the podcast that she was on and the portion of the podcast where everyone is talking about is her describing what she thought her life was going to be. So, as we all know, Ayesha and Steph's story starts very, very young. They met when they were like 14 and 15 years old at a church camp of some sort. That was their initial meeting. And then they reconnected at some point around 2008. And at that time, I think Ayesha may have been like 19 or 20 years old. They got into a relationship. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Really quickly, the two of them got married. And I think Ayesha was, at the time she got married, 22 years old, and Steph was 23. Now, in my opinion, that is very, very young to get married. So your frontal lobe is not even developed. That doesn't even develop until you're like 26 years old. So I just feel like that was very, very young for them to get married. But I think there was a lot. No, I know that there was a lot that had to do with their religious background and their belief system about being married before sex, this, that, and the other. So they got married and quickly started a family. Now, Ayesha has had some viral moments where she's said some things that people somewhat take offense to with regards to her marriage. She had a few years ago a Red Table Talk interview with Jada Pinkett Smith, and she alluded to the fact that Steph gets all this attention. He gets all these DMs with, women are after him and this, that, and the other. And she says that she does not get any male attention. And people took that and ran with it. And for a little while, I was one of those people that was like, oh my God, that's kind of weird for her to say. But you know what? As I started to process it, I understood what she was saying. She wasn't saying necessarily that she wanted the attention of other men. She just wanted to feel like she was desirable. Most women want to feel that they're desirable to the opposite sex or even just desirable to other people. So she's feeling like she wasn't getting that kind of attention. Now, again, this has nothing to do with the validation or the attention that she gets from her husband. But we are human beings. I'm speaking from a woman's standpoint. We like to be told that we're beautiful. We like to be recognized, when we go out and someone says, oh, you look very beautiful today, this, that, and the other. So I've really started to understand what she was saying. Now, fast forward to this recent interview. She was asked, basically, did she always want a big family? And her answer was no. And she also said she never wanted to get married because at that time, when she's a teenager, her goals and dreams were to have a career. She did not factor in being a wife and mother. That has nothing to do with the position she's in now. She loves her children. She loves her husband. But this is not the life that she thought that she would have. And also, I look at it from the standpoint of she got married at 23. Ayesha is 36 years old. I believe she's coming into this age, and I think it probably happened a few years ago, where she's wanting to reclaim herself. Sometimes when a woman gets married, especially when she's married to a high profile man, where she is pouring all of herself into him, into his career, into supporting what he has going on. Then you couple that with having children, and now she is pouring into her children. I feel like she's lost herself. I feel like she never got the opportunity just to be Ayesha. And I think she is at this point that she's trying to reclaim herself. She's trying to figure out, where do I fit in this world? What do I want to do? Because yes, she is allowed to be an individual in a relationship. I don't understand how people don't understand that that could work and that needs to work in order for you to sustain a healthy relationship. You cannot get lost in the relationship as a woman. You can't get lost in a marriage. You can't get lost in being a mother. You do need to retain some individuality about yourself, because you are still an individual. You still have individual goals, hopes, and dreams. And Aisha is just expressing this outwardly, what a lot of women are actually thinking. So I think she's getting a lot of flack unnecessarily. And I think people are being purposely obtuse as to what she's saying. And I think that that's really unfair to her. So, off my soapbox. So, for me, I always want to look at it from an astrological standpoint. And I kind of wanted to identify, or see if I could identify, what Aisha is going through at this time and why she's making these claims. So without further ado, let's get into the quick astrology of Miss Ayesha Curry and what is happening with her in this transformation. So Ayesha was born March 23rd, 1989. I do not have a birth time for her. So, always without a birth time, the rising sign is about 50-50. But I'm thinking that her rising sign is actually what I came up with. She was born in Toronto, Canada. She is currently 36 years old. That makes Ayesha an Aries sun, a Libra moon, and I believe she's a Cancer rising. And the reason I believe she's a Cancer rising is her face is very similar to my daughter's face, who's a Cancer rising. And they have that round face that looks like the moon, and it's very expressive and it's very jovial. So I think she's a Cancer rising. I put money on it that she is, but we definitely know she's an Aries sun and she's a Libra moon. Now, the Libra moon is what has her in relationships. When you think about Libra energy, Libra represents partnership. It represents marriage. It represents fairness and balance. So a lot of Libra placements do well in partnerships. You find a lot of Libra placements put a lot of emphasis and importance on being married and being connected with someone. So it's not missed on me that she got married really, really quickly. And at the time, she probably thought that this was the best thing for her to do. Now, she's also, with that Libra energy, being very fair. So I would be pressed to believe that in her marriage, she's always tried to make things fair. Now, sometimes Libras can sacrifice a lot. They can sacrifice a lot for their partner. They can give a lot to their partner. They can, kind of endure a lot, and they can put themselves on the back burner a lot for their partner. Another Libra placement, Libra sun, that exemplifies this is Cardi B and the situation with her husband Offset. She worked really, really hard to keep that marriage going. She sacrificed a lot until she couldn't sacrifice anymore. So I do believe that Ayesha has done that as well. She's an Aries sun. The Aries energy is about this, a sign of the entrepreneur. And in her, the clip that everybody's talking about, she expressed that she had an entrepreneurial spirit. She thought that she was going to be out there in business, maybe owning her own business. So it's not lost on me that that is probably something that is kind of rearing its head again with her, especially because we're just coming off of that North Node axis that was in Libra and Aries. So this had a lot of Aries placements, figuring out who they are and what they want to do in life. Okay. So again, right now, with her being 36 years old, she is in first house energy. So when we think about the first house governs our physical body, but it also governs how we show up in the world and how people receive us. It's also the house that governs our personal individual goals. So with her being in first house energy, and this started her last birthday, March 23rd, 2025, and it will continue on to March 23rd, 2026. This is all about her individual self. This is all about her discovering what's important to her. This is all about how she's showing up in the world, how she's expressing herself as well. Noticing that she's putting herself out there, noticing that she's probably focusing a lot on her personal goals and where she wants to go in life. So she's trying to figure this particular energy out as well. Now, the next thing that I looked at with regards to her transits that she's currently going through, in addition to her being in first house energy with that type of energy, she also has Jupiter in the sign of Cancer in her first house. So when we talk about Jupiter, we're talking about the energy of expansion and growth and opportunity, wisdom, all right, knowledge, things of that nature. And with it being in the first house, one of the things that she could see on a physical standpoint is putting on weight. Because again, Jupiter is about abundance and indulgence, and this is about the first house. So this could put her in an energy of possibly putting on weight. That does not necessarily mean that, but she will probably have to pay attention to that. But with Jupiter being there, this is opening up her mind, opening up what she wants to do for herself. Again, Jupiter is about expansion. It's about knowledge. So she's actually learning about herself at this time because it's in the first house. So we're seeing her doing more interviews, putting herself out there, putting out her message out there. People are starting to discover her and really starting to pay attention to what she's doing, who she is, and what the message that she has at this time. I noticed that she has Saturn is currently going through Pisces in her ninth house. Now, Saturn in Pisces in the ninth house. Saturn is also about structure. It's about lessons. It's about traditions. It's about breaking down things and making a foundation that's sound. Saturn can also bring the energy of dismantling long held beliefs that you may have. So with it going through her ninth house, the ninth house is about foreign travel. It's also about higher education. But most importantly, where I think it's focusing in on Ayesha is the ninth house governs religion, spirituality, and our belief system and how we see the world. So Saturn is currently in her ninth house and asking her, Ayesha, what do you believe now? What are those long held beliefs that you've had probably since you were a child about the world and how things operate and how you show up in the world? What are those things now? Are you starting to question those things? Are you starting to distance yourself or no longer believe in those belief systems and religious belief systems? Maybe your spirituality, maybe your faith is being tested. But what Saturn wants to do is it wants to come in there and change this. It wants to mature it because Saturn is all about maturity and growing and things of that nature. So it is not missed on me again that she is going through a really big reconstruction of her belief system. I wouldn't be surprised if her next interview or something to that effect, she talks about maybe her belief system around religion or spirituality or just how she sees the world has been under deconstruction, and a lot of things have shifted and changed for her in that area. Now, another thing that she has going on is Neptune is currently in Aries, and it is impacting her 10th house. So when we look at Neptune in Aries in the 10th house is the most visible part of our chart. So this is where we are seen the most. It's also the house of our career, our public image, our reputation, and title changes here as well. And this is also a parental house. So we look at our parents, but it's also a house that looks at our relationships with significant male figures in our life. So with Neptune being there, Neptune is somewhat of the planet of confusion, delusion, our dreams, fantasy, and just sometimes seeing things and not as clear as we would like them to be. So with Neptune going through her 10th house, this is where I feel like she's questioning her purpose. She's questioning her role in life. She's trying to figure out, what do I want to do? Do I want to pursue a career? And if I'm going to pursue a career, what is that going to look like? This is also the area that governs our reputation and public image. Now, with Neptune being there, how this I feel like is impacting her is a lot of people, when you have Neptune going through your 10th house, people see you for what they believe you should be. They will try to put you in a box for what they see you as to be. Now, this is reflective on her as being Mrs. Steph Curry. Nobody sees Ayesha as anything else other than Steph Curry's wife. So with Neptune being there, she's trying to figure out what is her identity. She wants to be seen as the individual that she is. But society is trying to keep her in this fantasy, in this illusion. There was a time that people were saying that Ayesha represented what you would want in a wife because she was wholesome. She was Christian. She dressed a certain way. So there was an image put on her that she actually took on for herself. And then after a while, she's probably thinking, this is not who I am. But people do not want her to get out of that image. And that is what she's fighting against. So now with us seeing her talking more, speaking her truth, they don't want to hear that. Neptune wants you to keep the rose-colored glasses on, and we want to see her in a different way. But she is, I guess, fighting against what the illusion that has been put on her. Okay, so that's how that Neptune is showing up in her 10th house. Another thing that I noticed is she is actually having a nodal return. And I think this is the biggest thing that's going on with her. Now, in her natal chart, her north node is in Pisces, which means her south node is in Virgo. And she has a north node in Pisces in her ninth house of her belief system. And then she has a south node in Virgo of communication. So she's actually having a nodal return. And nodal returns are very significant. They last us about 18 months. And currently the north node is in Pisces and the south node is in Virgo. So with this nodal return, this for the next 18 months, we probably have maybe about probably roughly 13 months left of this, a little over a year. With it being in her ninth house, we're going back to her challenging her belief system, figuring out what is her purpose, what are her morals, what are her values now, how is she showing up, what does she believe about the world and society, her morals, her values, her belief system. So this is what this north node, in conjunction with that Saturn, is doing, is questioning, where are you going with this? She actually may she may go to school, because in the ninth house, we have higher education. So she could be thinking about returning to school as well. And she could be doing a lot of long distance travel as well. Now, with that south node being in Virgo, south node is about things that we want to release. These are things that we want to release. And sometimes things that we need to, get out. So with the south node being in her third house of communication, the third house is about how we communicate, how we speak, how we write, how we process information. It's how we get our message out, how we express ourselves. The third house also governs media. And when we think about the third house, we think about kind of lower media. So we are thinking about social media, podcasts, YouTube, all your social media platforms, radio, doing these types of interviews, marketing, things of that nature. So with the South Node transiting there in Virgo, she is speaking her truth. She is finally talking about what it's like to be her, what she has contended with since the time that she got married up until now, what she wanted to do in the past, because the South Node is about things that are in the past, things that we've mastered. Now, this could be definitely reflective on her being a wife and a mother all these years. I think they've been married for about 14 years now. So now it's not necessarily that she's getting rid of that particular area of her life, but this is more about she's mastered this and now she wants to go on to something different, something individual that is strictly for her. And I support her on that. I think that is wonderful for her. Now, I'm going to end the video with this. I did the relationship activity calculations on Ayesha. This is where I come up with when a person is about to go into a love cycle, where there is about to be something significant that could be impacting their love life, just depending on where they are. Now, when we look at Ayesha being married, I did her calculations, and in all honesty, I came up with the age of 37. So that's going to be her next birthday. That is going to be a year of a lot of transition and probably a lot of change in her marriage. Now, does that mean that they're getting a divorce? No, that does not mean that they're getting a divorce. All I'm going to say in that area is there's going to be a lot of transition and a lot of change and a lot of growing with regards to how she does her marriage and her relationship with her husband. So they may be going into counseling. They may really trying to figure out this change that they're going through, this cycle that they're going through, supporting her in her individuality. But definitely there's going to be some work done in this area of their relationship and their marriage. So there could be a significant shift or change in their marriage dynamic. All right. So that is my take on Miss Ayesha Curry from an astrological standpoint. Again, I understand exactly where she's coming from. I support her on that message, and I wish a lot of other women would be bold enough to, you don't have to get on a podcast and telling your business, but just really listen to what she's saying and seeing if it actually resonates with you and understanding that you are an individual. Doesn't matter if you're married or in a long-term committed relationship, you must retain a level of individuality in order for you to be whole and happy. So if you would like to have your own personal reading with me, please visit my website at www.melaningoddesslife.biz. Follow me on all the social media platforms, including YouTube and TikTok. Thank you so much for your support. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you in the next video.
That really bothers
Bye-bye.
me and like honestly has given me a sense of a little bit of an insecurity is the fact that, yeah, like there are all these women like throwing themselves, but me, like the past 10 years, like I don't have any of that. Like I have zero, this sounds weird, but like male attention.